Please help support the channel by visiting our Amazon store for such products like the Blue Yeti microphone, affiliate link below. Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is the Mundane Matt channel, and you know what they say? Hell hath no fury like a lover scorned. And it's very true. Very true. Now, you might remember that as being a title of a video of mine from 2014, August 16th, 2014 to be exact, which is the video that got DMCA'd, which propelled me to where I'm at today. But that being said, there's nothing to compare with this at all, period. But the point is, I've said it before. And it's very true. Hell hath no fury like a lover scorned. It says here, woman killed ex-boyfriend because he went on a Tinder date 5 months after they broke up. Now, I've heard of people being thirsty at the ends of relationships, that pining, will I get them back? Why can't I just, what's wrong with me? Or is that just me, whenever I've been in a situation that hasn't ended the way that I liked it? But that being said, I get it. You know, heartbreak is a terrible thing. It's a terrible pressure on the human body. It does a lot to us emotionally, mentally, messes with our stability. And in this particular case, it can push you too far. Let's find out more, shall we? This is a girl right here. Just take a look at that nose piercing. It's a killer. I don't know. Anyway, a woman stabbed and killed her ex-boyfriend in a murderous rage after finding out he met someone new on Tinder. Well, so she slashed right or slashed, I don't know. I don't ever use Tinder. Tinder came out after I was in my relationship, so it's entirely Greek to me. Shop assistant Hasna Begum has been jailed for life after she stabbed 23-year-old part-time DJ Pietro Sanna 36 times. 36 times! Now that is a crime of anger. That is a crime of passion. That is a crime of you have messed with me, I will stab you. You know, you hear about this stuff all the time, but it's true. When somebody just completely shanks somebody else that many times, they are getting out some aggression. Might I recommend, if you are feeling that level of rage towards somebody who has slighted you, beat the crap out of a stuffed animal. You know what I mean? Slash up a stuffed animal. Take out Teddy Ruxpin. He can't feel anything. See if that helps. If not, seek therapy. Lots of therapy. In the days before the murder, the 25-year-old sent threatening messages to Pietro's date, Giuliana Consani, using fake Instagram profiles. That seems to be a thing recently, fake Instagram profiles. That's how they catfish you, right? On June 23rd, 5 months after their relationship ended, Begum climbed out of her window at 6 a.m., took a taxi to Pietro's home in Canning Town, East London, and stabbed him to death. She had been wearing a blonde wig and gloves as she confronted, then brutally attacked him before fleeing with his phone. Oh, wow, she dressed up for this thing. She Jodi Arias'd herself for this whole situation. Now, like, again, let's say it's crime of passion. But when she wears a disguise, it's a premeditated one. So it kind of goes out the window of being a crime of passion, I guess I should say. But she was seriously angry at this guy. Changing into his hooded top and trousers to hide her blood-stained clothes. She jumped in a taxi and went to a medical center to get a cut to her thumb checked out. Yeah, because that's what happens when you stab someone 36 times. Blood acts like a lubricant. It gets everywhere. It will get in places you won't even realize. Blood is a liquid. It can become a mist and get into the fibers of your clothes. It can get into your fingernails. It can get into your nostrils. It can get everywhere. People never realize that about blood. They think it's just like, oh, it's just going to be like in the movies, just a little bit here. No, 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 no. If you don't want to leave a big mess, get a one stab kill. That's horrible advice, but it's when it comes to the dealing with forensics, it makes sense though, because you know you have the cast off pattern that happens. The more times you stab, the more blood gets caught up on the blade. Then you cast it off of the blade, so then you see the spatter patterns on the wall. By the way, it's not splatter, it's spatter. It's a total misconception. I've actually, believe it or not, I've taken a homicide writer's course. It was a 2-day course I took back in 2012. Excellent stuff, taught by a former detective. So I'm also a bit into the true crime these kind of stories intrigue me a little bit. She then used the Italian man's phone for the next few days, deleting his Instagram posts and calling him 6 times in an attempt to cover her tracks. His body was found 3 days later when she anonymously tipped off his brother. Wow, why would she tip off the brother? I mean, clearly she thought she had gotten away with it. It'd been 3 days, there had been no body found. She had his phone. She was making the right phone call. She was making everything else to make it appear that that they were, she was reaching out to him, so she would not be a suspect. But yeah. Funny thing about cell phones is while they don't necessarily always tell you the phone's exact location, they do ping off of local towers, and authorities are able to then trace the general region where the phone was at when it was either making or receiving said calls. So again, a little bit of just light forensic work in terms of that, and you can find out, this information. Most people don't know it. And that's actually why a lot of people get caught. It's the people that know how to get away with these crimes that are able to get away with it. This girl thought she had done well. But no. And this is him right there, Pietro. That sucks, man. That sucks. I'm not trying to make light of this guy's death. I always hate these stories because, these stories, in my opinion, never really get a lot of attention. Like the Jodi Arias one from here in the United States a couple years ago, that was like a Lifetime movie. That was a big case because it was very similar in its regard, but the way that she went about it and the way that she did it, and it was kind of this femme fatale thing. That's how it was looked at. It was a femme fatale. It wasn't a sociopath who killed her ex-boyfriend because he wanted to move on and she didn't. You know what I mean? But whereas if this was a man killing the woman, it would be this, it's misogyny, it's the patriarchy, it's all these things. But that's never discussed when the sexes are reversed. Which I'm sorry to be the bearer of news here, but that's kind of sexism. That's a bit sexist. So something to consider for the future. Jurors were told that Begum met Pietro, who worked in a Canary Wharf sandwich shop, while she worked at Clinton's card shop in January 2016. She claimed they started a year-long relationship, but eventually split in January this year as she suspected him of cheating on her. Yeah, that can really piss somebody off. She says she went to his home on the day of the murder to discuss getting back together, and decided to wear a wig because she wanted to look her best and not like a tramp. Nothing says, I'm classy, like fake hair. Also, that nose ring. Just want to. I'm not a nose ring fan. I'm not a septum piercing fan. I just don't get it personally. It's a personal choice. Personal choice. The gloves she had on were just how she accessorized, she told the court. Yes, because that's how these things go. DCI Gary Holmes, who led the investigation, said this was a callous, brutal, and merciless attack on a young man who had his whole life ahead of him. The frenzied, brutal nature of the attack must have been entirely unsuspected by the victim. Her behavior before and after the attack was very conceited, and her claim of self-defense was rightly dismissed by the jury. I hope today's verdict goes some way into helping the victim's family move on from what has been a harrowing and painful period. Okay, so just to kind of quickly recap on the statement here, her behavior before and after was very conceited, and her claim of self-defense was rightly dismissed by the jury. So she says she went there. So she admits she was there. She admits that there was a fight, and she's claiming that it was an act of self-defense. He came at me, and I had to defend myself. Tee-hee. But I didn't report the crime, and I went to the ER because I had a cut because I stabbed his ass 36 times. Self-defense stabbings. Or self-defense stab wounds on me. That's currently how it goes. And then, I wore his clothes, and then I took his phone, and yada, yada, yada. You know how all this stuff works out. No, come on. In the statement, the victim's mother, Valentina Siona, I'm probably mispronouncing these names, says, "What words can one use to explain the pain of losing their son?" I don't know. I don't think there are words, actually. I think it's just emotion, empathy. There are no words that can express it, but since most of our communication is through nonverbal, I think a lot of people pick up on the cues. The pain caused by she says, "How can I explain the weight pressing on my chest when I realize he's no longer here. You can't. The pain caused by his death has been shared by all his friends, the old ones and the new ones in London. Everyone remembered him as a young man who was always happy, cheerful, helpful, and caring. Despite that we go on in our jobs, studies, and daily lives, there is a void in our family that will never be filled. That's very true. She's from Millwall, the Isle of Dogs, East London, was convicted of murder. She was jailed for life with a minimum of 20 years. So this girl right here, mad at her ex. He moved on. She didn't. And somehow she found out that he had met someone new on Tinder, which basically tells me that she'd been stalking him excessively, following social media. Clearly his Instagram was a key part in all this. And she waited until it was too much, and she went and she shanked him. I mean, you look at her and you see, like, you don't really see it. I don't see a murderer behind her eyes. You know, cold and callous perhaps, yeah. But murder is hard to tell sometimes. Anyone can do it. Anyone can get caught up in the moment and act. Now, before at the beginning, I did say crime of passion. That is probably not the most correct wording to use. I don't script these videos, as everyone knows. But I would say this was clearly a crime that was based upon passion. Passion for the pain of being alone. I'm not defending her. I'm glad she's in jail for 20 years at minimum. You know, these kind of cases happen. Domestic violence happens. And it happens to both sexes. But we never hear about it in a way that's going to keep people talking about the dangers of it. And that is not just relegated to one gender over the other. This woman is clearly disturbed. And if it wasn't Pietro who died, it would have been the next guy, or the guy after that, or the guy after that, or the guy after that. She would have killed somebody one day. And that is probably the scariest part about it, is that even if they would have stayed together, even if they would have married and had kids, probably at one point in time, she would have killed him. Or anyone she was with. Because something would have happened that would have triggered it strong enough to where, yeah. That's what I think. So to the part-time DJ, sounds horrible to say, it's a part-time DJ. It's like, he was more than a part-time DJ. That's what they listed his job as. Part-time aspiring DJ, basically. It sucks because, you know, his life is gone, 23. And then, yeah, I don't know how else to really kind of wrap this thing up, except anyone out there, just, you know, be very careful about who you date and how you break up with them if you do. Relationships are insane at times, volatile, dangerous. And when they break, they can have very devastating effects. Hey guys, that wraps up this video. If you'd like to leave a comment, please do so below. I love to read your guys' input. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button. It really does help me in the YouTube algorithm. If you want to support the channel, there's the Amazon affiliate store, there's PayPal, there's Patreon, there's Bitcoin. And if you're bored and you want something else to watch, check out 3 Buck Theater up here. My name is Matt Jarbo. I will talk to you guys later. Have yourself a wonderful day. Peace out.